Hello and welcome back to another Honest Tool Reviews. And I have just the tool for you today. So, I don't know if you can consider this a tool or not. When we buy a tool kit and it comes with a flashlight, one of these will count as a tool. And unfortunately, most of us remember making that thought, flashlight isn't a tool. But it does help you and assist you in a lot of things. So I'd like to do a review on a flashlight that you can still buy at Walmart, although it's been 4 or 5 years now, which proves that there's a strong demand for it. And I'd like to give you the best review of it I can. So I'm going to try to turn this video around a little and show you my gun safe. Ignore the pile in the closet. Everything's a mess in this one room. There's only so many rooms in the house. This is the Everstart Maxx. Sorry, I read that wrong. The Everstart Maxx. I've never looked at this label, but it's called the Everstart Maxx. Why is it called the Everstart Maxx? I don't know, because it doesn't crank cars. No, it does not crank cars. But it is a flashlight, which is a torch mode flashlight. It is also got a dim mode and a burst mode. You could use this on the side of the road to at the very least show people that even though you don't have a road flare, that there's a vehicle, and if you're walking around here, you're illuminating everything. You could also argue that this is a campsite lantern style position, but there's more. You can turn the torch mode on as well. This works really well for doing this. This is a function in which the handle actually comes down in different angles, practically any angle. There is a couple of spots where it sticks and it likes those angles very well, but you could put almost any angle on it with your fingers and it will hold that position. You can also just take one down if you really need it up against the wall, and it's fine. It's LED, so this won't get but so hot. And if you need to, you can hang it from a hook. You're doing woodwork or something, maybe your car's not made of metal, and you can hang it to view into your engine bay or into the crevice. If the power's out, this is a great way to hang it in the room that you're working to try to get the power back on. But last but not least, magnetic. So even though you might not have something to actually hang it to, if it is metal, you can still attach it. If your car has metal, like on the roof or the hood, you can bonk and you have your light present to work in your automotive situation. And I said last but not least, but that's because that's the features of it that make it a flashlight. I'm sure some people are thinking, well, he's just rambling and he barely speaks appropriately, so maybe he just means that's all. No, that's not all. It's not just a flashlight though. It's also a USB charging port with a battery. So yeah, we'll do this. This is Apple. Okay. Y'all know I don't like Apple, but for the sake of this video, there's a little button that doubles as an actual light. When you press it, it turns blue. You plug in your USB device, and this is not the Apple tablet. This is the Android tablet. Oh, there's the Apple tablet. Pardon me, got a lot of work utility things around here. Okay, so I plug it in. You know how Apple does, so it cuts on immediately, showing you that it's charged, but it has the power supply is receiving power. It's got the little lightning. That shows that it is in fact charging the tablet, or at least providing supplemental electricity while it sits in idle. This is providing enough power to charge a phone from 0 to 100 at least one time, depending on the size of the phone. I have charged a phone 2 or 3 times with it on a long journey, once or twice. I have had vehicles where the charging port or the power supply or the cigarette lighter itself, they just didn't want to work. And I had this in the car for emergencies and driving long distances without a GPS slash location device slash 911 calling device slash getting in contact with your family device is not recommended nowadays. Yes, we've become very dependent on our electronics, and I don't actually apologize for that. I needed the phone, and this charged it really well. Now, that is the end of my rambling. So let me give you the background on what I have actually done with this. I have used this to keep my phone charged numerous times on long distance travel. I have used it camping as a actual campground lantern. I have hung it from a tree so that I could see while I took a piss, because I didn't want to get attacked by anything, and I wanted to make sure I didn't see any deer or anything in the background. And y'all laugh because deer are innocent, but when a deer comes running at you and you're holding your penis, it's a wild situation. So I've used this under my vehicle because there's not a lot of room to sit it up, and you kind of can't hold it. So if you're under a vehicle and it's just barely jacked up or something, you can lay it down like this and get so much more light with less vertical space. And I do that. I'd have it next to my head like this. I'm laying on the ground, and so is the light, and I can see the oil change that I'm doing. I can see the belt change that I'm doing, and it has been very helpful. I gave one just like this to my dad, and he has had it for several years, and he dropped it in the small river behind the house. We keep the goats on the other side of the river, and he managed to drop this in the river overnight. Could not find it because when it went in the river and cut off. According to him, as it sunk, it was still lit, but after a couple of minutes, it went off. A couple of minutes being longer than it took him to get into the river to find it, because he's 80-something years old. Give him a break. That being said, and no, I legitimately mean he's 80. I was adopted. They were older. They loved me enough to do it. So he is legitimately 82 this year, and he could not get in the river. And of course, the light went out, so he couldn't find it. But the next day, feeling responsible for having dropped the gift that I gave him into the river, he crawled in there and found it. When he found it, he rinsed it off with water again because it was coated in mud. And it's got crevices here and crevices all in it. And yeah, he washed it all off and let it completely dry. Charged it up, and it works just fine. So I'm not going to say it's waterproof. Definitely not waterproof. But water did not kill it. Yeah, it didn't fry the battery immediately and could never be used again. He was able to revive it, and he still uses it to this day. Now, the charger for this thing is creative, because what they've done is they've saved money by only needing the female USB socket. But because of this, what they've done is they had to decide they were going to charge it with a male USB plug. So to charge this, you have to have a double-ended, double male to male USB socket plug. And the only place that I've ever seen them was here and in 5th grade math class, where we had these super nice TI 80-something calculators, and they didn't do these. They did micro SD to micro USB to micro USB, which was now people probably refer to it as old Android, but back then it was the better version of the really weird like PlayStation portable type charger. It was newer than that, smaller than that, and more curvy than that. And it was double-ended male to male, and supposedly you could plug one calculator to another one. And the few times I ever tried any of that crap, it never worked. But to charge it, you plug it in like this. You plug the box in, and I will show you it working. Let me fight with the setup that I have over here to find the little hole to plug it in. Let's get you involved. So as you know, I have the Hercules toolkit with the little USBs down here, and there's the hole. I have the USB upside down. Just a second. There we go. Okay, so it's plugged in. I'm gonna move this up here so that you can see it in real time. Not that that's very important, but I turned the on switch to the 6-way where it provides power to everything. By providing power to the Hercules with the USB port, this is plugged in and starts to receive a charge. The blinking means that it's charging. When it's solid blue, it is done. And if you plug it in and it's showing red, it is very dead, but it is charging. The blue just means that it's casually charging. So, I've shown you the light. I've told you how I've used it, not even in theory, but actually used it. And what is the review rate that I would give this thing? Well, it is by far one of the most handy lights that I've got, including the taser flashlight, police flashlight that I have. So, all things considered, I really badly want to give this a 5 out of 5. I really wonder if I can. But I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because I've said before nothing gets 5 out of 5. 4 out of 5 because there's always an improvement that could be made. In my opinion, it should not use the double-ended USB to USB because if you ever lose that charger, you can't charge it. And you're not going to go to the store and buy another charger. It's gone. It's done. You've got to remember the name of the light, the Everstart Maxx. Google it and buy a cord off of Amazon secondhand used, or maybe the company sells them. I don't know that they do, but maybe they do. That's actually how I ended up with 2 of them, was because I lost the charger for the first one, and I bought a whole nother flashlight and said, well, I have 2 chargers and 1 flashlight, 2 flashlights and 1 charger, and I'll just keep one on the charger and use the other one. But when I bought it, my dad saw how cool the flashlight was, so I gave him the older one. I kept the newer one, then I found the charger, which is kind of good because I gave Dad the charger too. I was going to end up having to go buy another one again because I hadn't really made the situation any better. Anywho, so 4 out of 5 because the charging situation is detrimental, but they did that to cut their costs and save space on the outside from being exposed. There's one giant hole instead of potentially 2 big exposure areas, which is good for the design. It's not good for us. Again, if you lose the cable, you kind of fucked. You can use it till it's dead, but that's it. Potentially, if they made it wireless charging, like things are going to in the future, then you could charge your phone from it while using it wirelessly charging, and therefore you could charge a non-wireless charging phone with the light. But it's just a thought for the future and has no bearing on this design. The design is what the design is, and because of that, I can't give it 5 out of 5. I greatly appreciate using it, though, and I'm happy to have paid the, I think, $22 after tax that I paid for this light. And I saw them at Walmart the other night. I did not even look at the price. I was too busy highly considering, do I need another one? The answer is no, because the flashlight works so well. But I do own multiple vehicles, and I've thought about putting one in each vehicle. But then I wouldn't have one in my house, so really I should buy 2. But enough of me and my spending problem. This has been the Everstart Maxx flashlight. And the review is 4 out of 5. And those are the ways to use it and how it works. Thank you for joining me on Honest Tool Reviews. Please comment, like, and subscribe as you want, but realize that I'm never going to pressure you. Hope you have a great day out there, and as always, be safe.